Welcome to the September 24th, 2024 school board meeting for Carpinteria Unified School District. Welcome, friends. I'm going to ask everybody, please stand for the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we are going to begin with C2, our closed session report. We had a conference with labor negotiators. Information was exchanged. No action was taken. Moving on to C3, approval of the minutes. We're going to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of September 10th, 2024. Any questions from the board on the minutes? Okay. For this evening, just so everybody's clear, if you'd like to make public comment after I read the item, I will ask the board if they have questions, and then I will open it up to public comment. If you would like to make public comment, you just need to get up, stand, and come to the podium, introduce yourself, and make your comment. And then we will continue with our business once the public comment is done for each item. Your comments should be constrained to just the specific agenda item. And if you are looking to make public comment on something that's not on the agenda, there will be a time for that as well. Okay, so no questions from the board on the approval of the minutes from the September 10th board meeting. Public comment for approval of the minutes, please come up to the podium now. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, thank you. Approval of the minutes. And welcome back, Ms. Diamond. At hour 1:29 of the last board meeting, union leadership attempted to clarify the importance of remuneration for elected school board trustees. Remuneration is a form of compensation provided to those in positions like yourselves. Remuneration is designed to either A, recognize your sacrifice, B, displace financial hardships that result from participation, or in this case, encourage a significantly higher level of investment in time and energy required to perform your duties with diligence, fidelity, and competence. Let the minutes show that at hour 1:29, the union began promoting remuneration by clarifying that not a single member of the community came forward to challenge any of the open seats during the upcoming November election. But before union leadership could clarify further, board members and the superintendent couldn't hide their extraordinary relief by mischaracterizing what we were getting at, that no challengers had come forward, openly laughing about their good fortune. When asked what was so funny at that hour, Mr. Schaefer attempted to justify his amusement by stating that the deadline had passed. Ms. Rigby and Ms. Green could not hide their relief, smiling broadly throughout the entire exchange. It's all on the video. Not just because this consensus school board will not have to defend any of these 5 critical leadership roles, but also because they are aware that there will be no significant public scrutiny or accountability regarding the performance during the election cycle. District employees are very concerned about this message that you will take when you reclaim your uncontested seats. We suspect that you have already convinced yourselves that no candidates challenged you because of the community's great confidence in your oversight. And with this conclusion in mind, we fear you will continue the exact same approach that you've taken thus far, an approach characterized by ridiculing, disrespecting, and even going so far as to legally attack those who openly question your performance and leadership. An approach that continues to slowly bankrupt the district with extraordinary legal fees to address the historic employee transiency in the district. It has done nothing for the diversity of district leadership and is best known for your unwillingness to ask meaningful questions and engage in thoughtful and transparent conversation in public or in private. Even in the face of successive legal rulings against the district, 5 straight years of declining enrollment until just this year where we've broken even, and increasingly faltering academic programs in comparison to like districts in the region and across the state. Let the minutes show that the district leadership misinterpreted our public comments when you interrupted the speaker with your relief and laughter. Our point wasn't that the deadline for challenges has
Thank
occurred.
you. Your time
It's
is
that
up.
remuneration
Any
needs to be
further
considered.
public
Thank
comment
you.
on approval of the minutes from September 10th? Okay, seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any comments? Or, no? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And I abstain as not being present. Okay, moving on to C4, approval of the agenda and consent agenda. Do we have any questions from the board on the agenda or consent agenda as current? Okay. Public comment on approval of C4 agenda and consent agenda. Please step up to the podium now. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, it appears that elected employee leadership must remind the school board that CUSD should not be loading the consent agenda for mass approval when individual items have not been brought before the public at previous meetings. The district's consistent misuse of the consent agenda is clearly an effort to advance public business without transparency. It is a Brown Act violation, and it clearly limits public discourse and oversight on the governance of the district. Absent the district's violations, employees would otherwise encourage the board to support items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. We're unsure if item number 1, a request to attend the Healthy Meals Incentive Summit in Las Vegas, is really necessary. Given the additional cost and the fact that our food service coordinators should already know what healthy meals are and how to serve them, going simply for recognition seems unnecessary. As long as CUSD is routinely serving meals that center around packaged or frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches called Uncrustables, we believe this money could be put to a better use. In regard to item 2, here we go again. This should not be approved. Just 2 weeks ago, senior administration drove out our only district nurse. This nurse, an approximately 10-year veteran at Cottage Hospital, who took a significant pay cut to serve CUSD's special education program and students for years, was repeatedly and inaccurately told she was not eligible for any reliable salary increases or longevity pay. By the time she learned that was incorrect, she had had it with the district's runaround and left for greener pastures, already employed and doing well. Now, unable to recruit a qualified replacement, CUSD again lowers the bar on the services it will provide students and families in the special education program. The superintendent asked for the board to approve a contract to approve contracted out services that fall squarely within CUSD's permanent positions, services we are required and should be able to provide ourselves. Instead, squeezed onto the consent agenda, you are asked to approve a contract that ensures we more than double the previous nurse's hourly rate. Where does less resources for more money make sense? Does the superintendent need even more authority to hire and fire with less accountability? When will the dismantling of CUSD's permanent workforce end? And hey, we know your kids aren't in these programs, but aren't any of you considering the impact on district students and families? Item 8 is a great example of yet another maintenance project being contracted out without conducting any bidding process. Should we be surprised that the CUSD maintenance supervisor works to provide public endorsements for the very company that is receiving the contract? A contract that comes in just under the newest limits set for avoiding the bidding process. Wasn't it you, Ms. Diamond, who went on the record that it should always and would always be best that at least 3 bids are found for projects like these? Lastly, union leadership would like to still know why.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Any further public comment on approval of the agenda and consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the agenda and the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Eric. Aye. Aaron.
Aye.
Sally.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
And I'm aye.
Wonderful. Moving on to E1, our student representative report with Angel.
Hi, guys. All right. Student report. This week at Carpinteria High School, Spirit Week is being held from September 23rd to the 27th. This week-long event is designed to build community and create an atmosphere leading up to our homecoming football game and dance. Each day of Spirit Week is featured with a unique theme, giving students the chance to express their creativity and school pride. The Spirit Week themes are as follows. Yesterday, Monday, September 23rd, was Lounge Around, Pajama Day, where students brought sleeping bags, tents, chairs, and donuts to feed everyone. Today, Tuesday, September 24th, was Tropical Paradise Day, or Beach Day, where people brought umbrellas, chalk, volleyball, Hawaiian shirts, and flowers. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 25th, is Jersey Sports Day, where students are able to bring any type of sport equipment, volleyball nets, soccer nets, and wear their favorite jersey, team, and support them. Thursday, September 26th, is Class Color Day, where each grade gets to wear a different color, the freshmen being yellow, the sophomores being purple, the juniors being blue, and the seniors being pink. On Friday, September 27th, is Camo Day. Camo Day, this goes on to the football game, but camo to hide our warrior pride from the Cardinals. For the homecoming events, we have the homecoming football game Friday on the September 27th at 7 p.m. at the Memorial Stadium. The CHS Warriors will face off against the Santa Paula Cardinals. Furthermore, at homecoming dance with the theme being Enchanted Garden, Saturday, September 28th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tickets are being purchased and have to be purchased by this Thursday, September 26th. Tickets will not be sold at the door. All students are encouraged to participate in Spirit Week and show their school spirit. Finally, the end of the first grading period of the fall semester will be this Friday, September 27th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any comments from the board for Angel?
Well, I hear there's a special venue this year for the homecoming dance, isn't there? No, out in the senior quad.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I keep thinking of last year. But yes, this year's homecoming dance, for the first time since my freshman year, will be outside in the quad, which is very exciting, different atmosphere and a lot more fun than being crammed in a gym, hot, sweaty, big mess. It really gets to be very cool.
That's great. Well, we're looking forward to sharing that experience at our next board meeting.
Very cool. And then I also believe this Saturday, in addition to homecoming, there's the volleyball tournament as well.
Yes, that is right. Carpinteria High School will be hosting a volleyball tournament right there in the gym. Students and members of the public are welcome to come join and, support our team. This tournament is set to be very big, at least in our league, and schools from all over Ventura County, and I believe a bit of schools from Santa Barbara County will be joining us. And I hope that every team has a really fun time, and I hope that our team does the best.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Public comment for our student representative report. Please step up to the podium now.
Excellent, thank you. Hello, Angel, and thanks for making it again and for sharing some of the positives going on in the district in your traditionally pleasant and amusing manner. At the last board meeting, I shared that district faculty and support staff have elected myself and the members of the employee union leadership team to share the interests, the experiences, the questions, and the concerns that we have with district leadership in the community. One of the ways we do that is by surveying district teachers and support staff on a variety of topics, and then sharing that feedback. And some of those surveys, and you've heard some of them, you've received some of them, have involved school site collaboration, employee priorities and interests, potential improvements to our school sites and services, ideas about modifying the instructional calendar, the effectiveness of the district's disciplinary or cell phone or grading or other administrative policies, or even sometimes just checking in with employees, where we can provide them a safe and trusted environment to let us know what we're missing. Students also receive surveys throughout the year from a variety of sources. And we've been told that some are more trusted than others, and some examples are, say, the California Healthy Kids Survey. I think you may have taken that over the years, or surveys from their teachers or site principals. These surveys have the potential of delivering valuable feedback And whether the respondents are teachers or support staff or students, that remains. It's often fascinating to see where the feedback that these groups provide overlap and where they diverge. And since we're all sharing, especially since we're all sharing the same learning environments throughout the course of the day. So union leadership wants to encourage you to consider how you might inform student updates by surveying high school students. In the context of their confidence in yourself as their trusted and hardworking student representative, we believe students may provide you a level of candor that the adults in this room don't always receive. A variety of topics come to mind. Interest in academic programs that we do and don't offer, ideas to increase school spirit and connectedness, solutions for parking, scheduling, and transportation challenges, candid feedback on the new cell phone policy, or their thoughts on issues that adults and district leaders also may be missing. So our goal isn't to give you more work, by the way. That's not what we're doing. We are clearly and already you are clearly and already really engaged in CHS, both locally and regionally. But if you also see value in surveying students on topics that are highly relevant, we'd like to support you any way we can. You are welcome to reach out to us, use us as a sounding board. We may be able to provide material resources as well. And at the high school, Ms. Rocklitzer is the union representative, and you could speak with her directly or myself. So, okay, good, full head.
Any further public comment on our student representative report? Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to begin with appreciation. I'd like to recognize the elementary grade level chairs and secondary department chairs who provide teacher leadership at their school sites and assist district leaders in school-wide improvement efforts. The second item is our recent social media school violence threats. It has been reported that since the September 4th deadly school shooting in Georgia, schools across the nation and in Santa Barbara County area are experiencing a significant increase in threats of school violence through social media. In the recent Santa Barbara County school-related incidents, including Carpinteria Middle School, law enforcement determined that these threats were not credible. Accurate and timely communication for staff, students, and parents is critical, and our schools use Parent Square to notify the school community of all incidents. Our schools follow the standard response protocols in any emergency situations, and these safety protocols are practiced throughout the year. We all need to work together to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and staff. The next item is our LCAP, or our Local Control and Accountability Plan. It was approved by the Santa Barbara County Education Office. We met the following requirements. Our plan adheres to the template adopted by the State Board of Education. It includes expenditures sufficient to implement the specific actions and services in the LCAP. It adheres to the expenditure requirements for funds that were apportioned on the basis of the number and concentration of unduplicated students pursuant to the California Ed Code sections 42238.02 and 42238.03, and it also includes the required calculations to determine whether there's a carryover obligation. This month is National Hispanic Heritage Month, which is celebrated nationwide through October 15th. This annual observance is an opportunity to celebrate the achievements, histories, traditions, and diversity and vibrant culture of Hispanic and Latino Americans. Our schools are celebrating with classroom activities, assemblies, and performances by Cascadas de las Flores. My next item is related to professional development. Our special education staff members are participating in the Inclusion Network provided by the Santa Barbara County Education Office and Santa Barbara County SELPA to discuss strategies for improving the learning environment for all students. In addition, our grade 9 CHS English teachers attended Santa Barbara County Workshop to discuss the development of the required Ethnic Studies course for fall 2026. And my last item is related to Measure U update. The Catalina Learning Center project continued with completion and inspection of all underground utilities, catch basins, and storm drains. Site concrete work has started with surveying and layout. Low voltage wiring is underway throughout the building, and the remaining waterproofing is being completed at the foundation's vent walls. Off-site fabrication of the library's fixed seating continues, and casework fabrication is underway. Additionally, the Aliso Kindergarten Classroom Building Project continues in the construction documents phase of services and is making progress through the local permitting requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on the superintendent's report? Okay, public comment on our superintendent's report. Please feel free to step up at the podium at this time.
So, regarding the superintendent's appreciation, across the district through a contractual process, teacher leaders serve their grade level peers at the elementary level and their content department colleagues at the secondary level. This system has been hammered out through the collective bargaining process to ensure that teacher leaders promote and attempt to maintain an open dialogue and collaboration with their colleagues and district administrators. Elected employee leadership appreciates that the superintendent acknowledged these teacher leaders this evening, but let's not stop there. It's not enough to satisfy contract obligations by putting these positions in place. Now district administration must listen to the experiences, the concerns, and the suggestions that these grade level and department chair leaders bring, and figure out how to collaborate with them on matters important to student achievement, workplace safety, and other areas of critical decision making. If this occurred more often, you would likely hear much less from myself and employee leaders like myself. I'm sure that would please you. It would please me. Who at the end of the day, who are responsible for advocating upon the interests that too often go unaddressed in school site leadership meetings across the district. Regarding the brief statement on social media, school violence threats, although it's nice to hear the superintendent say that we all need to work together to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and staff, do remember that idea of working together. Unfortunately, these statements serve as mere platitudes when they are not followed by actions that demonstrate the sentiment. For the last year, union leadership has attempted to work with CUSD to promote no less than 50 safety improvements across the district, and the district has rejected each and every one. While employees have affirmed their commitment to participate in the development and implementation of the Workforce Violence Prevention Plan, the district has ignored that, negating its obligations established by California State Senate Bill 553. The district has refused to, quote, work together on the development and implementation of the safety plan, which it was required to put in place by July 1st, 2024. California Senate Bill 553 requires management to, quote, work with and allow authorized employee representatives to identify, evaluate, and determine corrective measures to prevent workplace violence. To require management to participate in monthly meetings with authorized employee representatives. To require management to discuss, evaluate, and correct workplace violence-related concerns, hazards with employee representatives. And to require management to work with and allow authorized employee representatives to design and implement training. None of these management obligations has occurred either since before the plan was put into motion and you approved it, or after.
Thank you. Your time
Thank
is
you.
up. Any further public comment on the superintendent's report? Okay. We are moving on to the Catalina and Carpinteria Family School presentations. I believe we have Principal Quintero here. Yay. Come on up. And I'll let you introduce everybody as you have it all planned out, I'm sure. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for having us. Luis Quintero, principal. Thank you, everyone, for having us. Luis Quintero, principal of Carpinteria Family School and Catalina Elementary. First, we are going to present two of our programs that our amazing counselors and our amazing students facilitate around school. So you can click that for next. Okay.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Nice to see all of you. And I'm going to start with Carpinteria Family School and Canalino's Planet Protectors. We have a few of them right here. They'll speak in just a minute. So the purpose of our Planet Protectors, also known as Protectores del Planeta, is to promote environmental awareness and protection. It gives kindergarten and first grade students a leadership opportunity. They pick up trash twice a week during their snack recess. And each kindergarten and first grade class has a full month to participate. So we started, Ms. Tricia and I started this program last year. And fortunately, it's going to be growing because I spoke to Mrs. Rugg, and she's also going to be doing an after-school program, collecting trash, doing trash surveys, and like what kind of trash we have and how we can recycle and so forth. And then we have Maestra Wong's fourth grade class that is also going to start a recycling club. So it's great that we're starting at this age, and it just builds as the years go on. And as you know, we have recycling and compost and so forth. So it's really a great program for these kindergarten first graders. So here's a few pictures of students picking up trash. Hard to see, but we have, these are all for first graders now, Harper, Mila, Owen, and Mason. So they each have a trash picker, and we labeled the trash can. It says Planet Protectors on it. And then we have some student comments. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Landon Christopher Hargett, and I like picking up trash because it's helping the earth and for our environment.
Good job, Landon. Why didn't say why you like Planet Protectors? Say your name and why you. Say your name.
Hi, my name is Hadley Humbles.
Why do you like Planet Protectors? You can do it. Say, I like Planet Protectors because.
I like Planet Protectors because. Because we help the earth
Stay healthy.
stay healthy.
Very good, very good.
Hi, my name is Emily. What I like about Planet Protectors is we're picking up trash and we're helping the ocean.
Helping the ocean, very good, Emily. Yes.
Hi, my name is William. And what I like about Planet Protectors is that we're picking up trash with the trash pickers.
Do you have any questions for our Planet Protectors?
Where on campus, and anybody can answer this, where on campus do you tend to find the most trash?
Where do you find the most trash? Go ahead, William.
I guess on the blacktop.
Oh, okay. And if somebody else could answer, what is the most common type of trash you find? What type of trash do you find the most of?
Like wrappers.
Gotcha. And are they plastic, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Yep. Ooh, trash. All right. Well, thank you so much, my friends, for coming and talking to us and sharing about being a planet protector.
You want to
Great
turn around?
job, all of
Really
you.
quick? Turn around. This is the best.
Oh,
thing there.
very good.
Thank you.
You. Good job.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trisha Humbles. I'm one of the school counselors at Canalino and Family School, and I'll be talking about Club Kind. So there's some pictures up there. So what is Club Kind? It is a leadership opportunity for second and third grade students. Any second or third grade student can participate if they choose to. They sign a contract stating that they'll be at every meeting and that this is a commitment, so they're learning responsibility. They are an ambassador of kindness. You want to show the back of the shirt, Safina? So
Very nice.
every student gets one of these shirts. Thank you. And they wear them on meeting days. And each second or third grade class meets once a week for 4 weeks. So every class has like 1 month. We learn about kindness, and then the students think of acts of kindness to complete for our campus and for our community. So then by the end of the 4 weeks, we complete those acts of kindness. So some of the acts of kindness that we have completed, we did a food drive. We created hygiene packs for the homeless and donated them to a local homeless resource. They did a chalk walk outside the front of the school where they wrote positive messages for students to see walking into school. We wrote letters to Grand Vita around Christmas time. The students read to lower grade students, so kindergartners and first graders during lunch during Reading Across America. They had the idea of helping the little ones during recess, so they went out at K1 recess and had their Club Kind shirts on and helped them facilitate games and solve problems. And then we also did a Maker's Mart where they made sensory bottles and sold them during one of our family picnics, and all that money was donated to an animal shelter in Goleta. So here's a couple more pictures. And then we are having Safina Guerrero comment on Club Kind.
Hi, my name is Safina Guerrero. I decided to join Club Kind because I wanted to help people. When I was in Club Kind, we decided to have a drive for an animal shelter to make a kindness chain. We collected food, toys, treats, and other things for pets. We also made a chain of paper strips with encouraging words for kids to take a link when they needed it, called the kindness chain. I like Club Kind because it allows us kids to help in ways we believe in.
Thank you. And that's it. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you, Sophina. Any questions from the board?
That was great.
I want to share, and well, I mean, you could as well, where Club Kind originated from.
So I believe it started locally with adults wanting to help those in the community in need. And it
was a parent,
It was a
right,
parent.
that
It was
suggested
Jessica Clark.
Oh, okay.
Jessica
Right.
Clark started it. And then she had a group of fifth graders that she would do this with. But I don't know what happened. I guess that kind of fizzled out. So last year I really wanted a opportunity for second and third graders to have a leadership opportunity. So that
It evolved.
Yeah, it evolved into
Yeah.
something different. But it's been great.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank
and it
you
is
so
cool
much.
to be kind.
It is so cool.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
And up next, we have our students from Carpinteria Family School. They have a little speech for us and a little surprise after that.
All right.
Come on up, girls. Hi, thanks for having us. Today is Gratitude Tuesday at Carpinteria Family School, and we always share appreciations. And we want to appreciate the school board for inviting us, and we want to appreciate Principal Quintero. And a few of our friends want to share their appreciations for Carpinteria Family School. So we're going to have two of them speak, and then we have a little surprise for you. Bodie, go.
Hi, my name is Bodie Swigart. I'm in 4th grade, and I've been in family school since kindergarten. I love family school because it's a big community for everyone to thrive in. And I love it so much because it allows you to say what you want, and it allows you to have your ideas heard. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Sylvie.
Hello, my name is Sylvie Freund. and I'm in 4th grade. I came to family school from Catalina when I was in 2nd grade, and I was nervous, but quickly I got a lot of friends. One thing that I love about family school is that the grades are together, 5th and 4th, 2nd and 3rd, and kindergarten and 1st. So we get lots of friends quickly. I have friends in 5th grade and in 3rd grade.
Yay.
Thank you, Sylvie.
Thank you.
And we're excited to share, I'm going to have kidlets come up with your ukuleles. Do we have other speakers? Harper, were you going to share? We're just having 4th and 5th. Nope. Harper, were you going to share? Did you want to? Now's the time. You're not ready. Okay. All right. So we're going to come up and present. Angela White, about 15 years ago, wrote this song for our school. We love Angela White. She was with us for about 5 years, and it's called the Carpinteria Family School Song. So we want to sing it and perform it for you. And we also just want to let the public know that our K1 kidlets, we want to bring back our K1, and we want to plant these seeds to keep this place rocking. And so we wanted to share this song just to kind of give you a little bit of what our light is that we'd like to shine.
Cultivate
good.
Wow, that was so amazing. You are all so talented. I'm very impressed with your ukulele skills and your vocals. Fabulous job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for coming.
you.
Good night.
Okay.
Gotta get some ice cream.
Any board comments?
That was great. Thank you all.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much, and go ahead. I'm sure you have reading to do this evening, maybe some math facts, maybe some more ukulele practice. But Family School is a very special place, as well as Canalino, and so thank you for all coming and showing your support for CFS and Canalino, and I really appreciate it. I believe, let's see here, let things settle a little bit. Okay. Things are quieter. Okay, and public comment.
All right. Well, that was truly joyful. It's great to see what's going well at our elementary school sites. And we can always count on district leadership for focusing our attention on the details that we can and ought to be celebrating. This evening's Club Kind, Planet Protectors, and Family School presentations are a great example of what we can be proud of. These kids and their families and the district leadership should be proud of the planet protecting and acts of kindness and the music that we've seen, cleaning schools, holding food drives, chalk walks, letters to the Grand Vita, reading to younger students in recess help. Clearly fabulous work by fabulous kids. For the adults observing all of this, elected employee leadership has an additional observation. We find the quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which they selected on page 3 of their PowerPoint presentation, as especially relevant. Be the change you wish to see in the world. What a great message for children and adults alike. And when we encourage these kids and their peers to be the change they wish to see in the world, it's important to see that we, the leaders of their world, give some serious thought to how we can respond and how we do respond when the forces of productive change and progress come knocking on our doors. Will we listen? Will we, as Ms. Rigby suggested, work together? Will we stretch and learn and grow along with these kids and begin their paths as they begin their paths as agents of progress? Or as the years pass and they grow increasingly effective, will we dismiss them, disrespect them, demonize them, or attack them? It's important that today's leaders mentor the high-founded concepts they applaud and promote in public to those who are just exploring them, some of them for the very first time. How the value of their engagement can have a significant impact on their lives and the lives of their neighbors and the lives of those they may never meet. Let's not set them up for failure by encouraging them to change, to be change agents for progress, who we then hold in contempt as soon as their engagement stops being cute and cuddly and joyful and fun, and actually requires that we, you board members, the superintendent, myself, be the very things that require change. So thanks again to the kids and the parents for doing great work, and that was really great. Thank you.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, my name is Robin Bodwin, and I have a daughter in Carpinteria Family School, and I wanted to make a very small public note, and I wanted all of the members of the school board to be aware. I read the superintendent's report from a few weeks ago that noted the enrollment, and it showed Carpinteria Family School enrollment being down by 13. And I just wanted to make a note that that's not entirely accurate, because what happened is children enrolled, but because there is no K-1 classroom, they were moved into Catalino. So those children don't show on the enrollment numbers, so it's not for lack of interest. I just want to make, because I know those numbers are specific numbers and who's in what place, but I want to make it clear that it's not because there aren't families who want to be in family school. So, just my small, and that
Thank
was
you.
so beautiful.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
understand the makeup and what has to happen, and I appreciate and I feel where your heart is on that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nikki Wilmore, and I have a first and a third grader in family school, and I just want to express how grateful, I'm going to cry, I am for this program. We moved back to the area a year ago, and I have a child that's very high anxiety, and she performed tonight, which was shocking. And the teachers and their collaboration with the counseling center, it's been such an amazing program for children that really need special attention. The accessibility to the outdoors and being able to collaborate with other parents and peers of all ages has been such a blessing to our family, made this transition so much easier and allowed us to really build community and with both the children and their parents. And I'm so grateful for the program, and I just hope that as a community we can continue to support it. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. Okay. We are now moving on to our 2023-24 Family Service Agency School-Based Services Report with Ashley Lavastor.
Good evening, everyone. Hi. Do you want me to go through it?
The presentation is a PDF, so I'm gonna have to do it this way. So if you don't mind, just
Oh,
let
okay.
me know when to.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start on the third page pretty much because
Okay.
the first two are just, yeah. All right, so this is just the overall summary of the services and benefits, and I think the highlights here are that on all of our measures, they show a reduction in symptoms from pre and post. There's a reduction in behavioral problems as well, so one of the measures looks at that. And students and parents are satisfied with the services received. So we do a client satisfaction questionnaire towards the end or at the end of treatment. And it's a Likert scale measure, and 3 is the equivalent of like good, and 4 is excellent, and all of the numbers, or the average numbers, are in the high 3.7 kind of area. So very high satisfaction rate at the end as well. All right, we can move to the next. So this is where, yes. So this is where the funding broke down the past school year. The intensive in-school program funding, some of that is through the SELPA money that the district receives. And then CUSD had a lot of funding last year, which was awesome. And I know some of that was lingering COVID funds, I believe. We had quite a few positions we were trying to fill. 3 social workers was the request. 2 we didn't hire until the beginning of February. It was harder to find the bilingual clinicians. But we did. We found them in February, and you'll see numbers in a few minutes about how many services those 3 social workers were able to provide, even though 2 came in, pretty much more than halfway through the school year. And then the Department of Behavioral Wellness, that supplements, they provide, or we get to bill Medi-Cal for students that have Medi-Cal, and that's going through the Department of Behavioral Wellness. And so there's some supplemental funding that comes that way. So this one I'll let you guys read on your own, but it's a sweet success story about one of the clients and elementary student that came from Mexico, had some trauma history, community violence exposure, and one of our social workers who speaks Spanish was able to work with him. Being here, newly from Mexico, didn't know a lot of English. He would resort to talking with all the adults on campus who could speak Spanish with him and didn't really integrate a lot with the kids. But this social worker was able to work with him and process his trauma. As an aside, my side job is I'm a trainer in something called trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. And so I train all our clinicians in this model. And it's an evidence-based treatment, shown to work with kids who have been traumatized from 3 to 18. And so the social worker was able to apply some of that model with this kid and really good outcomes. All right, so this chart just shows the numbers for the school-based counseling services that our therapists provided. So not our social workers. We have another chart coming up for that. This was just for the therapists. So you can see at Aliso, there were 19, CMS 22, CHS 22, Summerlin 3, and then our intensive in-school that serve the IEP students. You can see the breakdown, but the total was 28. And then informal contacts includes things like contacts with parents, consultation with teachers, with principals, crisis drop-ins where it's not an ongoing case, but a student that needs some support for the moment and may not develop into an individual ongoing client. So that was just under 400 for the district there. Our therapists also participate in the SOS program, which is the Signs of Suicide. It's being done at the middle school and high school levels. And so a total of about 250 students were surveyed for that. They did it with 7th graders at the middle school and 9th graders at the high school. And this is a little assessment that the academic counselors go into maybe their health class and they administer it. And depending on how they score on this, we do follow-ups with them. So all the clinicians come together and poll students if they scored high on this and do a little brief assessment. So there's about 30 follow-ups that FSA staff managed from this. All right, so this is the chart for the social work services. So this is those 3 social workers I mentioned. And the numbers were quite high here. That the amount of students that were seen individually or in group by our 3 social workers was 61. And then those informal contacts, where it might involve, again, those contacts with parents or with teachers or classroom or playground observations, totaled 867. So really impressive numbers there. One of the measures we do with some of the adolescents, if they're willing to do this one, it's not a mandatory one we require, is the ACE questionnaire, which is for adverse childhood experiences. And, a large majority had answered yes to 3 or more of those. So it just shows that a lot of these kids are experiencing some level of trauma within the family unit usually. That's often what the ACE might indicate there. Okay, so some of the program objectives are to identify what those high-risk students are. So a lot of the referrals come from academic counselors who notice that there's a problem with the student, or the student might come to them as a first point of contact, and then they'll refer our way. Or again, in that SOS screening. This year, the high school also did an additional screening called the SABRS. Can't remember what it stands for right now, but it's a social emotional measure as well. And so we identify what those high-risk students are, we pull them, and then we give them the opportunity to elect into individual counseling should they need that. Groups also, I know that there's other services on campus. AHA does groups. Our FSA social worker did 2 groups this last year at the high school, a men's group and a women's group. And she had a really high interest in that. She had, I think, 10 in the women's group and 8 in the men's group. And then AHA does groups as well. This past year, there was also 2 CADA therapists from that agency, one at the high school, one at the middle school. So these numbers only reflect Family Service Agency, but there was these other services provided by AHA and by CADA, and then the grief counselor through hospice. So I'm really just proud of the district for having all these supports working together. All right. So I mentioned this briefly already, but a lot of times the referral starts from the school staff, and then we always reach out to the parent first. The parent needs to consent, be on board, unless it's a student that's of age that can self-consent. So at the high school, sometimes we get some of those. We always do a screening and meet with the student and make sure they're on board as well. We don't force this on anybody. So if the student or parent does not want the services, even if the school staff is saying they need them, we won't proceed. And this is just another little diagram of how it all works. And these are some of those measures I mentioned. Children's Revised Impact of Events Scale, that's the one that looks at post-traumatic kind of responses. And then the next one is the change in depression over time, depressive symptoms. And then the third one is the pediatric symptom checklist, so looking more at the behavioral issues of the kids. And we have students that can fill this out. The older students will do this one, and then we have parents fill them out as well. For the elementary students, it's usually just the parents that we rely on for that. All right, and then this is that client satisfaction questionnaire I mentioned, with the average being in the high 3.67 range for most of them. And this is our school-based counseling staff. This was at one of our annual meetings where everyone gets together. So this has some therapists from Santa Barbara County as well. But on the left, you'll see the names of our staff. And what's really exciting to me, too, is that all of our staff are returning this year. A lot of times when we have therapists that aren't licensed, sometimes, or they're getting their hours towards licensure. Some of them get licensed while they're with us. We have 3 right now that became licensed and stayed with us, even though they could go out and be in private practice or doing something else. So Christian and Katie, this is their 3rd school year with us. Savannah, it's her 4th. And Nicole and Amanda is their 2nd school year with us. So that's just sort of an aside as well, but makes me happy to see that. And then along the left of the report, on several of the pages, you'll see little quotes by students and parents, and those come straight from those client satisfaction questionnaires. So it's kind of fun to read those too. But I enter the results for this, so it's always fun for me to read what's said. But one of my favorites was the one that says, "My therapist is very understanding. No matter what the situation is, I always feel supported by her." So I read that and thought, if I'm going to go to therapy, that's what I want. I want a therapist that no matter what the problem or situation is, they feel like the therapist is there to support and help them. So any questions?
Thank you so much. Quick question. So in the ACE questionnaire, this was, let's see here, 28. So these are from the families or the students that you were already working with?
Yeah, the students complete the ACE, not the parents. And that one, it's more appropriate for adolescents. So this one's not given to the elementary, and it's optional. So
right. And then forgive me because I'm not remembering from a past presentation. Would you say that the percentage is up or down of students that are qualifying as having adverse childhood experiences?
That's a really good question. I would honestly have to go back and look at the past reports.
Okay. Sorry, I
yeah.
kind of hit you off guard there, but just trying to see where the trend is, and if it's, and I can email and we can check up on that later. But I just want to see where,
like from the beginning of COVID till now, kind of thing.
Or that's
what I was,
yeah.
Actually, what I
Even
was gonna
before,
ask, like,
get more of a baseline.
if we've seen a trend one way or the other since kind of returning from COVID.
And especially since the kids that would be taking this would have been that younger elementary, most likely, or just getting into middle school maybe age.
Well, the ACEs, if they're coming to us for individual therapy, that's not the SOS screenings that we're doing. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say anecdotally, depression and isolation and, using cell phones and social media is hugely more present since COVID.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Ashley, I wanted to thank you and your team. They provide incredible school-based mental health therapy service to our students. We've had a partnership for many years, and we simply can't do it without you. We're disappointed that our COVID funding is no longer, but we do continue to apply for grants because we really believe that every school site needs school-based mental health counseling at the school site to support our students and families. But we really appreciate you and your team. It's really top-quality service, and it has been for years. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to highlight something that you said, and it really struck me, is even when, like, you're there to help these students and their families, consent, the importance of consent in that, even when the intention is good, and that these kids and families understand the respect that is offered to them by, if the consent isn't there, okay, that's your choice for you and your family. And I just really appreciate the care that you take with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd just like to reiterate what Mrs. Rigby said, and that the board has really made it, almost the entire time I've been on the board has been a priority to have school-based counselors and mental therapists, but also to try to maintain small class sizes so that we can have a better chance of identifying these students who are having these adverse, experiences. And just to convey to your staff that we do completely appreciate them and the work they do.
And we love to partner with you guys, and we've applied for a grant as well through the CDE. We're waiting to hear from that. So we're hoping to be able to replace the middle school therapist that we had to, not start with this year just because of the funding shortages. So hopefully that will come through.
Well, and I think we see positive effects of this at the higher grade levels, right? So we identify these children when they're younger, and then if we can address the root cause of the issue and hopefully get them some therapy, I think we're seeing the behavioral improvements at the upper levels, especially at the high school.
Right.
We don't have those, they don't have the fights like you used to remember fights in high school, 20, 30 years ago. And because they've learned the skills, the students have developed the skills to deal with it. The staff has developed the techniques to nip it in the bud, if you will.
Right.
So I think it's very beneficial, district-wide.
And all those programs that we heard
Oh,
from them
for
about
sure.
too,
Yeah,
I
no,
think that
it's-
it all plays a part, right? If they have
Throughout,
something
yeah,
positive
yeah.
to connect with, then they're less likely to go
Yep.
in another direction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, public comment.
Alrighty. Thank you, Ashley, for the presentation. Elected employee leaders have been monitoring the impact of Family Service Agency's contributions since last year's report. And we're pleased to see the numbers shared on page 6. A total of 66 start school-based counseling, a total of 28 intensive in-school therapy sessions, a total of 390 informal contacts. We're also pleased to see the data shared on page 8, where FSA confirms a total of 867 social work contacts, a total of 61 individual group counselings. We do have a question, so if we may inquire, do these totals clarify the number of events or the number of students and families being served? I'd like to make sure I get the time back, but the totals that are provided, do those reflect total events, or do they reflect total numbers of students and families?
The total number of students and families being seen ongoing is for the individual and group. Those informal contacts are events.
Great.
So different response
For the different ones. Okay, thank you. Thank you. On page 12, FSA provided a flow chart on school-based counseling process, on the school-based counseling process. The process includes school personnel, and on the previous page, it clarifies the process begins with a referral from school staff, parents, or the student for school-based mental health services. Union leadership is looking for clarification. It doesn't have to be at this time, but at some point in the future. Our referring staff directly updated on the subsequent progress experienced by the student. And we're wondering how staff members are empowered to support the FSA counselors as they work in the teaching and learning environment. On page 13, FSA explains that students who received individual counseling and group counseling services from FSA showed a statistically significant reduction in total post-traumatic stress. The associated graphic shows a bar graph that shows intrusion symptoms dropping from 8 to 7.2 and avoidance symptoms dropping from 10 to 8.2. Trusting that you're telling us accurate information, perhaps you could help us better understand how the 0.08 drop is significant. Is there an average or mean data point for students with these kinds of symptoms that could be used as a comparison? The same request would apply for pages 14 through 16, where the shift in data may appear subtle, but may be much more significant in light of the averages and means surrounding this type of advocacy. Finally, CUSD has the authority to increase the number of permanent full-time counselors and psychologists, and in the absence of FSA services or reducing services. Have you seen other districts provide similar services by making
Thank you. Your time
permanent
is
the
up.
positions that CUSD
Thank
is
you.
now
Your time
contracting,
is up.
contracting to receive?
Thank you. Your time is up. Okay. Thank you, Ashley. We are now moving on to public comment on items not on this agenda. So if you have something you'd like to speak to that is not addressed by tonight's agenda, please feel free to step up right now.
Thank you. An update on the state of collective bargaining. Last, there has been some movement on the topic of impasse. After reaching out to the state directly, PERB has put our impasse mediations back on the map. After canceling scheduled meetings and alleging throughout the summer, as well as into September, that CUSD has no space or rooms available to accommodate meetings with employee leadership and the state mediator, the district has now agreed to an in-person mediation session on October 9th. Although failing to take advantage of the summer months to resolve our contract disputes does little to avoid the potential for disruption to students, instructional schedules, and the daily schedules of district families, the parties will at least move forward in our attempts to reach a reasonable agreement. After rejecting each and every one of the 100 safety, special ed, and compensation improvements proposed by employees, the district has demonstrated it is all too willing to use the anxiety and disruptive impacts on district families as a bargaining chip going forward. We're hoping to avoid that disruption, and we ask district employees and community members to do all they can to better inform district leadership about how the proposals that we've made actually help support the mental, physical, and emotional well-being of our students and families. Now an update on other labor-related legal actions. At CMS, Principal Pursoon's behavior earned the district a contract grievance even before the students returned. The grievance has been advanced to arbitration, and we are now working with the state on this matter. Also, before the school year began, the union was compelled to file 2 other grievances, also now advanced to arbitration. Unfortunately, the district chose to dismiss its legal obligations, which required CUSD to include employee union representatives during both district orientations, so that we may have an opportunity to introduce ourselves and speak directly with new district employees. Although CUSD included the union on the agenda, when it was time for union leaders to present, the district refused to allow representatives into the meeting space and then dismissed the employees altogether. That was a nice trick. So this is how CUSD spends the community's tax dollars. And until the community comes forward or you do something about it, it looks like it's not going to stop. So off we go to more expensive and avoidable legal hearings. And by funding these extraordinary legal expenses, the board continues its own anti-employee culture by failing to direct the superintendent otherwise. Ms. Rigby's law firm laughs as more taxpayer dollars are directed into their pockets, which are filled already with over $500,000 this year by the unnecessary conflict that Ms. Rigby and you have supported and pursued, which reaches a total, of course, of above $2.5 million when you include the failed legal attacks against employee union representatives just in the last approximately 2 years. So time for a change, folks. We really hope that you approach your jobs with a bit more diligence. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. F, Board Policy Title IX Special Packet Updates by CSBA. In April 24, the U.S. Department of Education released revised regulations which support the implementation of Title IX, a federal law prohibiting sex discrimination in publicly funded education programs and activities. CSBA released a special update packet to ensure compliance with these important revised regulations. The following board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits are part of that package. We will be updating all of the different BPs, ARs, and E included in these CSBA revised regulations. F1, Board Policy 4033, Lactation Accommodation Update, second reading. The board is asked to approve the second reading of the updated BP 4033 lactation accommodation. The revision incorporates the latest changes made by the California School Board Association. The governing board recognizes the immediate and long-term health benefits of breastfeeding and desires to provide a supportive environment for any district employee to express breast milk for an infant child upon returning to work following the birth of the child. The board prohibits discrimination, harassment, and/or retaliation against any district employee for seeking an accommodation to express breast milk for an infant child while at work. Any questions from the board? Public comment on F1?
Fortunately, no questions or responses from the board. At the last two board meetings, the district was asked how it would go beyond simply modifying policies such as BP 4033 on paper to ensure that these policies were implemented with, again, diligence and fidelity. Ms. Diamond offered a brief platitude about trainings that, when we asked the first time, which didn't actually and don't actually occur, and the rest of the board and the superintendent fell silent. This evening, however, thanks to transparency requirements associated with the Brown Act, we're permitted a second opportunity to examine the detail of this BP on lactation accommodations and seek answers once again. Since we haven't received a response from district leadership since we asked 2 weeks ago, we hope you've arrived slightly more prepared this evening. The background document states that the governing board desires to provide and support a supportive environment for any district employee to express breast milk for an infant child upon returning to work following the birth of a child. It is common knowledge that CUSD routinely fails to implement the most basic provisions of this policy. For example, at each and every district school site and facility, employees are entitled to a lactation space, which may be used by the employee for expressing breast milk or breastfeeding as needed. And that lactation space shall be a private room or other location other than a bathroom, which may be the employee's work area or another location that is in close proximity. And it shall be shielded from the view and free intrusion while the employee is expressing breast milk. It shall be safe and clean. It shall contain a place to sit and a surface to place a breast pump, have access to electricity and alternative devices, have access to a sink with running water and a refrigerator. Within a refrigerator cannot be provided another cooling device suitable for storing breast milk. Yet these obligations cited in the policy, trumpeted here, are not consistently provided, if at all. Maybe district leadership can help us understand how the failure to implement this policy promotes a sanitary and safe environment for lactating mothers. Maybe district leadership can help us understand how requiring lactating mothers to work it out on their own serves the district's commitment on paper to, quote, minimize the professional disruptions to the workplace and teaching and learning environment. Given the consistency by which these issues come up in a public school district that employs a much higher rate of lactating mothers compared to other industries, can't CUSD do better than this? And can't you diligently look into why it isn't happening? Thank you.
May I get a motion to approve Board Policy 4033?
I'll move to approve.
Second reading? Okay.
I'll second.
Any comments? No. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, F2, Board Policy 5146, Married, Pregnant, Parenting Students Update, second reading. The board is asked to approve the second reading of the updated 5146, Married, Pregnant, Parenting Students. The revision incorporates the latest changes made by the California School Board Association, CSBA. The governing board recognizes that responsibilities pertaining to marriage, pregnancy, or parenting, including related obligations, medical conditions, or recovery, may disrupt a student's education and increase the chance of a student dropping out of school. The board desires to minimize interruption to such students' educational progress by supporting married, pregnant, and parenting students in their continued education, assisting them to attain strong academic and parenting skills and promoting the healthy development of their children. Questions from the board? Okay. Public comment on F2, Board Policy 5146, second reading.
Already, BP 5146 has many crossovers with the previous BP under review. in that it addresses how to support pregnant and lactating mothers, this time student mothers. Therefore, we want to use this opportunity to encourage the board to consider the following. 1, if the district takes the same approach with lactating student mothers that it takes with employees who wish to express breast milk during the workday, we would be doing these young ladies a true disservice. Number 2, whether the system is designed for student mothers or working mothers, the intention of the legal code is clearly to make the opportunity easy to access, safe, and sanitary. Number 3, when the district's policy is shrouded in mystery, not advertised, and only cited here at board meetings, it makes it more difficult to access. Number 4, when the expectations contained in the policy are difficult to access, it encourages, or it discourages, I should say, their usage and increases the possibility that young mothers must either express milk in unsafe or unsanitary environments, or actually just avoid school altogether and not come. Union leadership asked the district to do a better job in implementing this policy, as we did with the previous policy, as we do with many other policies that aren't being implemented properly, with a considerably higher degree of diligence and fidelity than currently employed. A lactating mother recently suggested that instead of waiting to be approached by those in need, the district could start with proactively notifying student and or employee mothers of the district's written policy as soon as the district is notified of the pregnancy or the birth of a child. The Human Resource Department could have a folder prepared for such circumstances that clarifies the district's commitment as it is expressed at the board meetings, but not put into practice. At the last board meeting, union leadership encouraged the district to more proactively designate and clarify where, on any school site facility, the district provides a location or locations for lactating mothers to express breast milk in a sanitary, safe, and easily accessible manner. No response, of course. Once determined, though, these locations could be placed on school site maps, just as we would expect storage areas and restrooms to be placed on site maps to further increase access and further normalize the expectations surrounding the issue. This isn't rocket science. It's about good communication and transparency. As usual, union leadership remains open to meeting with district leadership to discuss these improvements to how these and other policies are implemented. It baffles us as to why you remain so silent. Thank you.
May I get a motion to approve Board Policy 5146?
I'll move to approve.
Second reading, pardon me.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. G, Educational Services, public hearing on the availability of textbooks and instructional materials for the 2024-2025 school year. Each year, the Carpinteria Unified School District must hold a public hearing on the availability of textbooks and instructional materials for the current year. President Diamond, myself will open the public hearing, accept public comments, then close the hearing. The hearing is open. Okay, hearing is closed. G2, Resolution 24-932, Resolution on Sufficiency of Textbooks or Instructional Materials. The board is asked to adopt Resolution 24-932, which states whether there are sufficient or insufficient textbooks and instructional materials available for every student in the district. The resolution further determines, as required by Education Code 60-119, which areas there are sufficient materials. Any questions from the board on Resolution 24-932? Public comment on G2, Resolution 24-932.
Employees have asked elected employee leadership to ask you all this question. Do you, our board members, are you aware of the process that employees go through to select and endorse textbooks? I see one head nodding. Ms. Green apparently is. Ms. Green, would you like to explain, or could you explain your understanding of that to the community, please? That's how well you know it, huh? I would give up the rest of my time for you to explain it to the community, if it's about time. Okay, that's what.
If you know what it is, why don't you explain it yourself?
Ms. Green, we're asking if you know what it is, and you said you did. Okay, as we expected. Not only does it appear that you're unaware of what the process is, and it's a really fairly comprehensive process with a lot of parts, and it would be, I think, important before you endorse textbook approvals to actually have a hold of what that process involves. Not only that, it would maybe be wise to ask a few questions, given how little you do know, apparently, how little you do know on the topic. I mean, is there literally no inquiry on the topic? You have no curiosity to figure out areas of operations that you're unaware of? There was a public hearing, I believe, was the last agenda item. I believe you looked for thoughts and then gavel to close. Not a question, not a comment, not an inquiry. Absolutely no curiosity. This is leadership. Ms. Green, I'll step down anytime you want to explain the process, please do.
Okay. May I get a motion to approve Resolution 24-932?
I move to approve Resolution 932. Is that the note?
I'll second the resolution about the sufficiency of textbooks, not how we select them.
Okay, and resolution,
Roll call.
Roll call, yeah.
Eric? Aye. Aaron?
Aye.
Sally?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
I'm aye.
Okay, H1, warrants. The board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of 9/9/24 through 9/19/24 in the amount of $1,137,559.54. Warrants are issued once a week on Thursdays. The report format shows check number, check date, payee, brief account description, payment comment, and check amount. Questions from the board on the warrants? Public comment on H1 warrants.
Alrighty, union leadership was pleased to see that the district's costs related to legal matters on this specific warrant appear significantly smaller than they have been up to the last board meeting on September 10th. Up to today, the warrants have confirmed that over $500,000, $500,000 has been spent on already unanimously determined illegal attacks on employee representatives in just the last 6 months. $500,000 of taxpayers' money added to the millions spent in the years prior. Absolutely. Yeah, there's legal costs on this warrant, Mr. Schaefer.
$500,000?
Apparently you're unaware of that as well.
$500,000 in legal costs.
Apparently you're unaware of the legal costs on the warrant as well? And the connection, I want my time back, by the way, please. Thank you. Should we do a calculation on how much time that took?
Please.
Thank you. I have about 20 seconds. Thank you. Although the district continues to delay the pending accountability associated with the state's unanimous decision in December 2023, the bill only gets bigger, and it is not anticipated to be reversed, and you're going to see more of it on these warrants, we're certain, by the next warrant as well. Although CUSD continues to send a very clear message through these warrants and through its behavior that all who are brave enough to openly participate in otherwise protected activities, which not missed by district employees, activities that when the district attacked us for them, the district was found guilty of discrimination and retaliation against employee leadership. Although the CUSD has successfully silenced many of the individual voices of teachers and support staff who are afraid to attend these meetings and share their concerns with you directly, we believe you are aware that you are running out of time and methods to maintain the kind of control you enjoy. As long as CUSD misappropriates tax dollars this way, here's where these taxpayer dollars will not be invested. We feel like we're compelled to remind you. Routine classroom supplies that have been denied at several school sites, supplies like paper, printers, adequately functioning copiers and toner. Improving conditions that are anticipated to stem the exodus of highly qualified talent in our SPED program, such as increasing classroom support in the form of more instructional aides or lowering case numbers for SPED teachers so that they can better serve their students and families. Instead, we have already lost three critical SPED positions, teachers and a nurse, in just the first 3 weeks of school. How many instructional aides have already been injured at just Catalino this year? We've asked you that last time, Ms. Rigby. You didn't respond, but we do know you spent a lot of time at Catalino in the last few weeks. Improvements to employee compensation.
Your time is up.
Have my 20
Thank
minutes
you,
or my 20
On.
seconds or no? Interruption,
Gifts.
Mr. Schaefer.
Oh, we need to get a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. H2, gifts, grants, donations. 2A, donation from Santa Barbara Bowl Foundation through Rotary Club of Carpinteria to Carpinteria Unified School District. The board is asked to accept the donation from Santa Barbara Bowl Foundation through Rotary Club, valued at $27,532 to CUSD Elementary and Middle School instrumental music programs for the replacement of instruments deemed not repairable by the repair vendor over the summer. Any questions from the board? Okay, public comment on H2A.
Once again, employees want to thank those donors who provide gifts, grants, and donations without any unethical strings attached. The Rotary Club of Carpinteria is clearly doing great work supporting the band program in our community at the school district, and really, really appreciate that. I'd take off my union hat for a moment and approach you as a parent at the last board meeting on that same topic of donations to the band program. I asked about changes to the band program, and it appears that perhaps some of those changes are now being reversed. So we'd like to encourage you to look into that. I'd like to encourage you to look into that. My family would like to encourage you to look into that. It does sound like there may be specific instruction on instruments being provided at the elementary level again. So if you had anything to do with that, thank you.
May I get a motion to approve H2A?
I'll approve H2A and thank the Rotary Club of Carpinteria for their continued support of the music program in the district.
I'll second that.
Wonderful. Discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
H2B, donation from Anonymous, CHS Football and Cheerleaders. The board is asked to accept the anonymous donation of $500 to the CHS Football and Cheerleaders for activity funding. Any questions from the board? Public comment on H2B?
With my union representative hat on again, I'd like to thank Anonymous for the donation with no strings attached to the CHS football and cheerleaders. Once again, these programs can use as much financial support as possible, and anybody who steps forward to donate is really a hero in our eyes. When I take off my union hat and again speak to you as a parent, it was just fabulous at the game on Friday to watch what an enormous impact the cheerleading program has on the kids in this community. There are a few programs in the region, maybe even the state, when you look at districts that are our size, that have the level of participation and enthusiasm and the commitment that we see in this program. And it was on full display on Friday. I believe some of you were there to witness it. Those of you that weren't should look into it, because really, again, pretty extraordinary for such a small town. So thank you.
May I get a motion to approve H2B?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Discussion? All in gratitude to Anonymous. Thank you so much for supporting our students. All in favor?
Aye.
H2C, grant donation from Santa Barbara County Office, Education Office to Crystal Wang and Patricia Humbles, Canalino teachers. We are being asked to approve a grant donation from SBCEO Instructional Strategy Team Member Funds to Canalino teachers Crystal Wang and Patricia Humbles, $500 each for a total of $1,000. Questions from the board? Public comment, H2C.
having been the recipient of instructional strategy team grants myself personally, I can vouch for how valuable these are for educators and support staff who are trying to remain dynamic and creative in their practice. So again, as we'd like to thank the Santa Barbara County Education Office for providing grants like these with no strings attached, no unethical strings attached. And we appreciate the work of Ms. Wang and Ms. Humbles that comes with this grant. We are wondering if the work of this grant, the work that this grant is dedicated to fund, if that work is still outstanding, or is that work that has already been completed? Ms. Rigby, maybe you know the question to that, or the answer to that. Thank you.
May I get a motion to approve H2C?
I'll move to approve with
I second it.
gratitude. Thank
Sorry.
you, SBCEO.
I second that motion with gratitude.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to I1 Personnel Summary. The board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items. Change in assignment 1, resignations 2. Any questions from the board? Okay. Public comment on I1.
Alrighty. It is a short personnel summary this week, this board meeting. We have one employee who has resigned from a position to take a higher position, a different position. Youth leadership certainly appreciates when the district recognizes that there are people within the district who are qualified and capable of assuming higher positions, and we hope Mr. Bever's success in the new position as he has a given period of time to demonstrate his chops in that area. In regard to another resignation, unfortunately, we have yet another resignation of a very talented special education employee, Jacqueline Cruz Lopez. Ms. Cruz has decided to leave the district because of the insufficient compensation values that she's being provided here. And perhaps how we put it, if you do have an exit interview, perhaps that will suss out her sense of what it was like to work in Carpinteria as well. This special education resignation joins a slew of others in the last half of year. This one not even backfilled, just a clear resignation of a very talented special education instructional aide. And so the numbers keep increasing. I'll bring them to you next week again. I think you've heard them a lot. I don't think you need to hear them again, but maybe the community would be interested. Okay, thank you.
May I get a motion to approve the personnel summary, I1?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Board announcements.
I would like to say that I attended the Catalino Family School Coffee with the Principal the other day, and it was kind of awe-inspiring. There were about 30 parents there, men and women, and Mr. Quintero asked everybody to speak and introduce themselves, and for an hour there were amazing comments and suggestions as to what could further transpire and make Catalino Family School even better. It was really kind of super to see the engagement of the families and the support they're all willing to give Catalino and Family School. So I will be going to the other coffees as well. Very fun.
Good. Anybody else? Okay. Well, there's football. As Angel said in his report, we have a football game. We have the volleyball tournament, homecoming this weekend. A lot going on. Spirit Week at the high school. The bike courses are going on. Aliso was, I believe, last week, maybe the week before. Catalino just started. Yeah. Oh, and at the middle school OPE, yeah, okay. So we're doing more bikes at the middle school. There's a lot going on. The weather's starting to cool down a little bit, which will make things a little more palatable for the kiddos out on the playground and during sports. I'm thankful to the rest of my team here for stepping in for me last meeting while I wasn't able to be here, so thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to board calendar. Anything of note there? No? Just the regular, nothing, no changes is my point on the board calendar. Oh, yours doesn't work.
Just a reminder of our visits on October 11th.
October 11th, wonderful. Okay, future agenda items. We have our solar update, superintendent annual goals, staffing update, SIPSA, single plan for student achievement, and revised 24-25 budget. Anything else from you guys for that? Okay. Public comment on L, future agenda items.
Earlier this evening, during the approval of minutes, employee leadership addressed the need for remuneration, some form of compensation, for our school board trustees. Elected employee leadership asked that the topic of remuneration be placed on the very next school board agenda. Since the board removed remuneration for board trustees, district leadership's decision-making process has reflected an increasingly narrow set of experiences, knowledge, and curiosity when compared to previous CUSD school boards, district employees, and the families we serve. The request to provide your compensation may seem odd, especially coming from those who so clearly understand the concerns and the impact associated with the performance of current district leadership. But look, improving a TK-12 school district isn't a sprint, it's a 10K. In this case, maybe more like a marathon. So we have our eyes focused on what CUSD could be, not what current district leaders have reduced it to. Here's another way to think about it. In regard to board leadership, is the district currently getting what it's paid for? We haven't paid much, if anything, for the board members that we have at the moment. Should we be surprised about what we're getting from you all? Current district leadership's performance is exactly why we encourage remuneration. CUSD desperately needs new leadership with new skills and a new vision, and remuneration improves the possibility of achieving that. Elected employee leadership remains laser-focused on areas where change is needed and perhaps possible, and where opportunities for improvement abound, but are currently going completely untapped. Here's another way to think about it. Over the last 7 years, Carpinteria's economic sector has been somewhat transformed. Its property values have gone through the roof. The community's transportation infrastructure, although a right truly pain in the rear sometimes, is undergoing transformative changes and improvements. The tourism sector remains robust and continues to evolve and grow, and our community has become increasingly diverse, racially, religiously, culturally, and professionally. Yet all the while, our school district stagnates, wallowing in an environment of low expectations and vindictiveness by its leaders, beginning with the very leaders we look to for vision and accountability, yourselves. Although these district leaders can point to a success here and there, which all too often are only successes because we're willing to move the goalposts, even the occasional success does not mean that CUSD is coming anywhere near its potential under your leadership. Why have other sectors of our community been able to maximize and improve at much higher rates than CUSD, instead of other businesses and economic sectors in our community whose successes are recognized across the state and nation? CUSD fails to transform itself into the district it can be. Thank you.
Okay. I didn't realize we were a for-profit business, but okay, interesting. Okay, and with that, we are adjourned. We get to